Okay, welcome to November 17th council meeting, call 6:30. Start with the traditional acknowledgement, followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty, and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, Anishinaabe, and Métis people. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Brand, Councillors Evie, I was going to say Smith. Say it when he's not here. Any disclosure of interest? Okay, seeing none. Time being 6:31. Can I have a mover and seconder for motion to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councillor Muir, Councillor Evie, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, time being 7:02. Coming out of closed session, council discussed identifiable individuals. We also had two items deferred to the next meeting. Okay. Okay, so presentations, we have, who do we have here? Is it Moya? Mike? Oh,
Mike, yep, sorry, Mike from Aqua.
Mike from Aqua. So we have the third quarter operational report and then a couple of work orders.
Yes, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight about the Q3 report.
1 second, please. You have an iPad right there? Yeah. Are you recording or what do you? Okay. No, you cannot, Mr. Martin. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike DeHauja. I'm with the Ontario Clean Water Agency. For the water treatment plant, during the Q3 of Red Rock's drinking water system, it operated without interruption. Total treated water flow for the system in July was 8,428 cubic meters. August, 9,243 cubic meters. September was 7,564 cubic meters. And year to date, that's 64,815 cubic meters. The maximum flow rate for the water treatment system to the distribution system shall not exceed the rated capability of 2,722 cubic meters daily. In July, the max flow was 439. In August, it was 455. September was 303. For the wastewater treatment flows, during Q3, the Red Rock wastewater facility operated without interruption. Total flow for the system was 20,156 cubic meters. August was 15,134 cubic meters. September, 11,462 cubic meters. Total effluent flow is 150,353 cubic meters. The plant capacity for Red Rock wastewater facility at 900 cubic meters daily with a peak flow rate of 5,000 cubic meters daily. In July, the max effluent flow was 945 cubic meters. August was 840 cubic meters. September was 565 cubic meters. For our compliance summary, all bacteriological and chemical laboratory sampling, as well as the distribution chlorine residuals, were taken within the proper timelines of the OREG 17003, with no adverse results detected. All staff operating the system are licensed and as required as per OREG 12804. Occupational health and safety. There were no new health and safety related incidences in reported Q3. And we are still currently upgrading safety anchor points for contacts for tie-offs for hatch access. Inspection and communications with regulatory authority. In 2024-25, MECP inspection was done on the drinking water system February 12th of 25 with an inspection rating of 90.77. There were no community complaints or concerns in Q3 of 2025, it should say. Sorry, it says 24. Alarms and callouts. There were 3 alarms in July. Water treatment facility for UV fault, power outage, and low chlorine. 3 in August, low pH, low chlorine, and 1 filter alarm. And 1 call out in September, low pH, with work orders attached. As overall responsible operators for the system in Red Rock, it is imperative that Aqua staff be notified of any activities regarding water systems that may affect water quality. Communication has been extremely good between the town and the staff of the Ontario Clean Water Agency. And the level of communication is greatly appreciated as it safeguards for the community. Council and Aqua in maintaining a safe drinking water system which delivers reliable potable water to its residents. Capital work is being completed for the high lift pump in Q4. It will be done within the next few weeks, actually. And in closing, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to review the quarterly operation report for Q3. And if you have any questions or concerns, please contact me at any time. I can assist. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for that. Any, Councillor Muir?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good, good. Thank you. I was looking through the inspection reports, like your PMs. So the work orders, do they automatically get generated and then the PM comes up and turns into a work order?
Correct. Some are generated monthly, some depending on what they are.
Right. Yeah, no, I noticed that. So what I was looking at was the blue-green algae inspections, and I noted July that there was the intake was checked, and then in August it looked like there was some shoreline. So how do you determine? It's just a good question. How does it get determined where to look for that algae?
Well, I would have to refer the operators. I can get back
Okay.
to you at that. Every facility is a little different.
Yeah, that'd be great. I just want to know what to look for, and if there's anything the community can do as well, because I mean that stuff pops up. You wanna know about it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely follow up. And if there's anywhere a number of the community members could call if they see it when they're out kayaking or paddling around, yeah, definitely like a reporting line, so to speak.
Certainly, I can. I'll have that information to you, and I'll email it out.
Hey, thanks so much.
No problem.
Any other questions or comments on his report? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to accept the third quarter operational report from Aqua? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Okay, now we have PSD, right? And is that Moya? Okay,
Yeah, are you guys able to hear me there? Okay.
there we go. Okay, so the 2024 asset management plan, we have, is it Moya Taylor?
Yes, Moya Taylor. Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Just getting my screen shared here. Are you able to see my presentation there?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, good evening, and thank you all for inviting me here today. As mentioned, I'm Moya Taylor. I'm an asset management advisor with PSD Citywide. So I'm just going to be reviewing the updates that have been made for this iteration of the AMP to ensure it meets legislative requirements for 2024 and provides a basis for the development of the 2025 AMP. So before diving into the specifics of the AMP, I just wanted to provide a short overview on the project and touch on some asset management points in general. So the Township of Red Rock and PSD Citywide have been collaborating for a number of years now, including their 2022 asset management plan. For this project, we aim to develop an updated AMP that was compliant with the second leg of OREG 58817 and includes the key information needed to incorporate the 2025 requirements. I'll talk more about the specifics of the regulation in later slides. So as part of the current project, we held supporting workshops with staff covering the 4 areas you see, inventory data refinement, risk and criticality analysis, lifecycle framework development, and levels of service. So why the need for municipal asset management? We can acknowledge that municipal infrastructure assets are vital for our communities. And from our perspective, we need a way to organize what we own, a way to understand what services we provide through those assets, and a way to ensure accountability to our residents and stakeholders for the services they use. These 3 key objectives are really the driving force behind not only the regulation, but also the increased awareness among various stakeholders on the need for asset management. So from a municipal perspective, the value is the level of service we are providing to our residents. And a high-level set of parameters that we can use to determine that level of service is shown here. So we have the cost. How much will it cost the township to replace or repair a given asset? When will that cost be required? We have the performance. What is the current output or performance of the asset? Is it in poor shape? And then finally, we have risk. What is the potential risk of this asset failing? Who will be impacted if it were to fail? And are we able to identify high-risk assets? To fully determine the level of service we are providing and then identify any critical steps that we need to address potential downturns on the levels of service, asset management should be spread throughout the organization. And this starts with the asset portfolio or the asset inventory. So in short, the township should work towards establishing a centralized asset inventory that is agreed upon by all stakeholders and has the critical data points needed to identify that risk, cost, performance, and ultimately the level of service. So to talk about Ontario Regulation 58817, they have defined requirements for 3 AMP iterations. The first one was required by July 1st, 2022. It included measuring current levels of service, asset inventory analysis, current performance of assets, life cycle activities, and cost to maintain current levels of service, and the impacts of growth on current levels of service for the core assets. So your core assets would be your roads, stormwater, water, wastewater, and bridges. The 2024 requirements are the same as the 2022 requirements. However, this time the non-core assets were also required. Non-core meaning your buildings, vehicles, machinery and equipment, and land improvements. So while the last iteration of the AMP did meet the minimum Ontario regulation requirements for the non-core assets, this AMP provides an update to the state of the infrastructure, and it expands further on the levels of service for non-core assets and provides a fundamental building block for the development of the 2025 AMP. The 2025 requirements include proposed levels of service, proposed performance of assets, life cycle activities and costs to achieve proposed levels of service, an updated financial strategy, and impacts of growth on proposed levels of service. So the township has signed a charter for the 2025 AMP with PSD Citywide, and work is currently underway to complete this update as well. So here we can see a review of the items required for OREG 58817 compliance. Each item indicates the year the deliverable is required and the status of the component. So as you can see, all the 2024 requirements have been met, and all the 2025 requirements centering around those proposed levels of service will be completed in the next iteration of the AMP. So then what comes after 2025? The regulation does require that all AMPs be updated once every 5 years after 2025, and that council conduct an annual review of its asset management progress on or before July 1st, and that the asset management policy and plan be posted on the municipal website. So to talk about the specifics of the 2024 AMP, it was developed based on the asset inventory as of December 31st, 2023. This presentation will provide an overview of the current state of municipal infrastructure and provide recommendations to increase confidence in analysis and decision-making. So we can see here the replacement cost for each asset category. And as you can see, the total replacement cost of the asset portfolio is $92.2 million, and that would be in 2023 dollars. And the current condition of the assets is shown here. So the current condition is central to all asset management planning. You can see the distribution of asset condition by asset category, and it is weighted out by replacement cost. Collectively, 70% of assets in Red Rock are reporting as in fair or better condition. And the condition of the assets relies on both age-based and field condition data. So the chart here shows the percentage of assets that had condition assessments applied and the source of those assessments. Overall, assessed condition data was available for 57% of assets. For the remaining portfolio, we used age as an approximation of the condition. The age-based condition typically does overstate needs and overall deficits, whereas assessed condition data builds confidence in decision making. So we use that assessed condition data when we're looking at asset management decision making in order to mitigate any risks associated with asset failure, to identify the most economic intervention, and to accurately predict any future expenditure requirements. So having defined the replacement costs, the condition of the assets, and identifying any life cycle activities, a long-term capital forecast was developed. It includes both asset rehabilitation and replacement requirements. So the graph here identifies the capital requirements over the next 50 years for each asset category. And then finally, we can look at recommendations and next steps. It is recommended to continue to review and refine the asset inventory in consultation with internal departments and stakeholders. It's also recommended that a portfolio-wide data governance strategy be implemented to increase accuracy and confidence in the data. It's also recommended to develop an established cycle for updating replacement costs and condition information within Citywide. In regards to next steps, the township will have to start preparing for the Ontario Regulation 58817/2025 requirements. This includes refining the asset data based on identified gaps, identifying proposed levels of service, and developing an external communication strategy to engage the public on asset management and to get their feedback to inform the development of those proposed levels of service. As I mentioned, the township has already signed their charter for the 2025 AMP, and we've already begun work on this to meet those requirements, including implementing a community engagement survey. Lastly, we must consider continuous improvement and regular review. The AMP is a living document and it should be updated regularly to inform long-term planning. Accordingly, the yearly capital operating budget should include funding for the assessment of the township's assets that will be used to update future iterations of the plan. So I thank you all very much for your time, and I'll now welcome any questions.
Are there any, Councillor Muir?
Yeah, thanks for that. I just a couple of questions. So yeah, I guess the July 1st deadline is coming fast. So today, the proposed levels of service, the feedback, are you taking the charge on that, starting that soon?
Yes, so I believe the community engagement survey has already been implemented and we've received the results. So we're just working on compiling those results and using them to inform the development of those proposed levels of service. And we are starting work on that within this week.
Okay, so then you're going to provide the projected performance measures and then kind of like a detailed 10-year life cycle for us?
Yes. So what will happen with the 2025 plan is I'll work together with the staff to kind of see what would be most efficient and most effective for your municipality in terms of the proposed levels of service. And then we develop a 10-year plan and what that looks like in terms of working towards meeting those proposed levels of service within the asset management plan.
Okay, so then it'd be up to us to find the funding gaps internally. And then we'd have to have the documentation for our annual review.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we analyzed your current funding and we will recommend a rate or tax increase to kind of, eliminate those gaps and to show what you can do to work towards those. And then annually, you would just have to provide an update on how you guys are doing working towards those goals.
Okay. Will you have funding stream too? Because I know it's not a popular suggestion to say, well, if you want this, it's going to be a 15% tax increase. Are there going to be funding streams provided too, so the taxpayers can also see that? Because I think that's primarily how we get our stuff around here is funding streams.
Typically, what we do is we provide a few different scenarios to show what it looks like if you were to keep going with your current funding, if you were to increase it by certain amounts, and to show how that would impact the condition and the risk of your assets. So we do have all that information available, and we provide that, and ultimately, the municipality gets to decide which will be best to move forward with and which is most feasible for you guys.
Perfect. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none. Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve? Oh, where are we? Oh, to update, accept the updated asset management plan from PSD Citywide as presented. Councillor Eby, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Scroll down too far. Okay, minutes of the previous council meeting, November 3rd. Any errors or omissions? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the minutes of November 3rd? Councillor Eby, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. We have correspondence. 6.1, NOMA, improving safety and connectivity through 2+2 highway development in Northern Ontario. Any comments? Seeing none. 6.2, NOMA, 2025 federal budget reaction. No comments. 6.3, NOMA, Highway 1117, section completed. Well, what has been completed? It is quite nice to drive on, I tell you. 6.4, NOMA, the potholes program.
Just, Mayor, go back to 6.1. They were looking for a resolution for that.
Okay.
That one from, so that we would need the council direction on a resolution for that one.
Oh, right. Okay. Six 6.1, correct?
Yeah, 6.1. So the resolution is drawn up. It's there. We would just insert our particulars into that. So if the direction of council was to move forward with that, then we just need a resolution moved in second.
Okay, is there a mover and seconder to support? Yeah, the NOMA improvement safety and connectivity on highway 6.1. Councillor Muir, Councillor Brand, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thanks for that. Okay, reports from committees. We have the Library Board, October 11th, 2025 meeting. Any comments, questions? Can I have a mover and seconder for motion to receive the minutes of the Red Rock Public Library Board meeting of October 11th? Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, we have a report from Community Development Officer. Welcome, Ashley. We have your report.
Highlights, questions?
Highlights.
Okay. So we've completed all of the work associated with the Recreation Center rehabilitation. We're just waiting on our final invoices, and then I'll be completing final reporting and claims on that project. So that's been a long time coming, but glad that it is, or the end is in sight. The bridge work has been completed. So that was the last portion of the NORDS funding to help with our bridge infrastructure. So once again, just waiting on the final invoices for our bridge. As per our biannual bridge inspections, we have been given a list of work that we can continue to work on based on available funding with timelines. But in terms of the NORDS funding, we have completed all that was available with that funding program because it will be completed March 31st, 2026. The Memorial Banner Program, the banners are all up. We did have 3 new banners this year. However, they were delayed. There are some issues with the company producing them this year. So once they arrive, we will have them visible at a location where members of the community can see them, and then they will be going into storage. Plan is to have them up until the end of the month, and then when our Christmas decorations go up on the light standers, we'll do the swap out. The NOHFC Rural Enhancement Stream Funding application. So I've been meeting with a contractor to actually on Wednesday to complete that work. So that's 4 sections on the recreation center, roof sections that have been leaking. So the gym meeting room roof, the curling club entrance where the she shed is, the washrooms in the curling club area, as well as the hallway and over the minor hockey area rooms that have been leaking in the past. So that work, the plan is to have 2 sections completed by the end of this year. And then once the construction season starts again in the spring, they will complete the final 2 sections. The rotary bench has arrived and photos were taken, and it is now back in storage for the winter, and it will go back in the park between Saunders and Dampier's Offshore Variety in the spring. So that was the partnership between the township and the Rotary Club, and the township's contribution was about $200 towards that project. The cruise ship was here on October 4th, so I was not here at the October meeting to provide a report. So this is kind of filling that gap between my last report to council in September. So the cruise ships were here October 4th, 211 passengers came ashore. So revenues to the township were about $5,600 from security fees, disembarkment fees, interpretive center exhibit access, merchandise sales. And we did have a bit of an additional economic impact, supporting a couple local businesses and the Historical Society. So there were donations made to the Historical Society for providing tours around the community. Preliminary discussions indicate that Hanseatic Inspiration is looking to come back. So the township just has to decide whether or not we'd like to have the cruise ships back and continue working with Superior Country on organizing exhibitions with them. And excursions, sorry. So there have been some developments with Doc C when it comes to some of our options based off of conversations I've had with about 4 different companies. And so some of those numbers that have come back are from about $340,000. Some are almost $500,000. So we are exploring some of the other options that we may have, whether it be replacement, but that does require the full dock inspection. So there's a couple contacts we have in the area that would be able to provide us with preliminary inspections to help guide that process. But there has been positive feedback from both NOHFC and FedNor that it meets the requirements for a couple funding programs, and they are happy to partner with each other. So once I get better estimate on all of the potential costs based off of one company doing all of the work as a turnkey operation versus hiring engineers, electricians, various companies that are required individually, making sure that we don't miss any components in that application. I'll have a better idea of a dollar figure, and that will come forward to help decide which route we're going to take for the application. Currently working on a seniors community grant. So this is through the province for up to $25,000 for administration costs, supplies, equipment, instructors, programming between July 2026 and March 2027. So we're looking at physical activity for seniors. So this is anyone over the age of 55 in the community. So this was something that was identified in our community strategic planning initiatives back in 2022, as well as from the Red Rock Golden Club. They've approached us. So I've been reaching out to a couple different instructors on different activities we could do. So falls prevention, yoga, Zumba, fitness classes, strength training, to help improve healthy active living within our seniors population. Also affordable because it would end up covering all costs for participants. If we need to purchase any additional equipment for our recreation center, we're able to do so for this, as long as it matches the programs that are being offered and help reduce social isolation among our seniors population. So I'm working on that application so far with support from the Red Rock Golden Club and assistance from Nancy at the library, because she's used the New Horizons program a couple times in the past to receive funding for seniors at the library. The pothole prevention and repair program. So that is up to $38,000. The application is nice and simple. You basically just have to say you're interested and they'll hopefully give us a bit of money. It does look like it's retroactive to April 1st of March 2025. So any of the work that we have done on our streets would be eligible under this, including municipal labor and equipment use. So this is a fantastic program. The challenge is any funds have to be spent by March 31st, 2026. So if we were to complete anything between now and that time, it would be primarily done on our gravel roads. So grading, if we need to do any bank enforcement, or bank stabilization, that's what this fund can be used for. So once our manager of facilities and public works returns, we'll be finalizing some of those details on where the funds can be used for. Just a further update off of some previous conversations that have come out of council meetings. I have been in discussions with MTO and their project manager for the paving of Highway 628. They have confirmed that the width of 628 is being increased. The shoulders are going to be 1.5 to 2 meters wide, so that will make it a lot safer for cyclists, walkers, anybody using 628. It does get used quite a bit by our residents and people coming to visit the community, so that's a huge win for us, as well as a partnership with the Great Lakes Waterfront Trust, who does the cycling paths in the entire area. So that then allows us to update all of our profile information in the established routes that are on their website and that have been promoted in the area. You'll see on our website, we have a recreation area, and that's where information on our trails will be. So we've created a reporting form where if any of our visitors or locals are hiking up to Lloyd's Lookout or along the Red Rock Mountain Trail, if there's any washouts or downfalls, windfalls, any trees down, anything that needs to be done, there's a reporting form where you can report any maintenance. And that gets sent to myself and to our information email, and we can then address any of those maintenance issues. So those are some of the highlights of what I've been working on and what's been going on. And then you'll see down in the bottom monitoring situations with some of the applications that have been submitted, and we're just waiting on funding responses. If you do have any questions regarding the asset management plan, I've been working with Moya and a couple of the other PSD program officers on that. So if there are specific questions that you have regarding certain sections, how things were calculated, I'd be happy to answer any of those questions as well. And kind of plans moving forward with our asset management plan.
Great, thank you, Ashley. Are there any questions or comments on her report? Councillor Brand?
I want to ask about, is the dock inspection, is that all the docks that are down there? So they're just specific ones that have damage?
That would be primarily on Dock C that we've been having some issues with.
And where would that be in the rows? Like, is that?
So that's the one farthest to the right. So if you're standing on shore, it's the one closest to the bridge walkway.
Okay. Yeah. And then can I just ask about the potholes? So I've talked to a few people out on the rural roads, and so they had a few concerns. So I'm wondering, would this cover also, like they told me about, like some of the ditches need to be dug out so water flows better, on grading needs to be done a certain way. Is this something that money would go towards?
In terms of the ditching, I'm not so sure. It's
Okay.
mostly like specifically related to the surface and stabilization of gravel roads. You're welcome. So if there are any concerns like that, please bring them forward. They do ask that if there's any work that we are planning to do or has been done, if there's any written complaints that are associated with them, that helps strengthen our application, and if they're identifiable sections.
So the people who have spoken to me and told me about these different things, you want me to provide that to yourself?
Provide that to the township as a written complaint regarding the condition of our gravel and rural roads.
And I can do that to you on behalf of these residents, or does it have to come from the residents?
Normal complaint process, I believe, is it has to come from the resident to the township office. Oh, it would have to be through normal township
so come through
requests and
them, not through me.
Yeah, I mean, it can come through a counselor, but it should flow through, but it could come to myself or whoever's in the chair, and then it can be filtered down.
As long as it's a written complaint that follows the municipal process, that's what's required. Thank you.
I believe you want the written complaint,
Yes.
just so it meets the standards.
Yeah,
For the
and
funding, right? It's
We
not
do have to
just-
provide that written. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
So identifying the road, the section and the issue. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Oh, just one follow-up comment to Councilor Muir for the 2025 requirements. So we have completed most of this process already for it. So the charter that we signed with PSD was for both the 2024 and the 2025 compliance. So we were actually working on both of them in tandem. So because they kind of flow into each other, so the community surveys that our residents were completing were actually for the 2025 requirements. So we've essentially already ticked that box. So there is some asset inventory gaps that we're completing, the level of service surveys that went out. So those that component is really just kind of that final piece that we'll be working on over the next couple weeks. And the plan is to have the 2025 requirements in early new year.
Yeah, because it still has to come to council for approval. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it would be January looking for that?
We're looking at January, February,
Okay.
depending on how fast things go over the holiday season. So
Yeah.
things basically kind of stop
Yeah.
after the
Well,
second week of
even, yeah, it's-
December.
even if it's in March or February,
Yeah.
it's still well below before the deadline. So
Yeah. So the deadline was actually July 1st, 2025. So we're basically in line with many of the other small
Okay.
communities across Ontario with kind of the requirements, the amount of work
Oh,
that
yeah.
goes into
That's that part.
asset management plans. So we actually met our 2024 requirements back in 2022 when we completed those ones. So this was updating all of that information to make sure that we had what we needed in order to complete the 2025. So it was a bit of an update, a refinement of the previous report, because it did go from just our core assets to all of our assets. So it was a bit of an enhancement and an update of the previous requirements.
right. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that on my notes. I put down 2025 was just
No worries.
passed. Yeah. Okay.
It
Just over a couple
passed.
months over, but still, I mean, regardless, it's it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all of our funding, like this will go up on our website tomorrow. The links will be sent to FCM and AMO. Because that's where we send our asset management links to, just to make sure that we meet those requirements. And basically, when we apply for funding, they just want our most recent asset management one. So if we were back to like the 2021, 2022 requirements in 2025, 26, it may be in jeopardy, but we're doing pretty good across the board compared to some other communities. So not too worried about that.
Great, thank you for that. Any other? No? Okay. Can I have a mover and seconder for motion to accept the report from the Community Development Officer? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, Ashley. So I have a report from the Manager of Public Works. He's away on vacation, so any questions can be directed through the CEO. Councillor Muir.
Yeah, just a thanks to Wayne and Mark and staff for getting the Zamboni over to Nipigon for that October. I know the kids had a tournament. We were sitting there on the Tuesday night, watched the Zamboni burn in the middle of the ice, and the kids were getting prepped up for the Friday night. So I know they were super nervous, and first thing they did was look in the stands and say, and Henny goes, "Dad, can you get the Zamboni from Red Rock over here?" So, let me call Mayor Robinson. But yeah, no, it's thanks very much. Just shows how well the two communities work together, and very, very awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Brand?
A question regarding under general, it says completed one boat launch out assist. When we assist with these, is there, do we get paid?
Yeah, there's fees that go with
There's
that.
fees. Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions or comments? Good. Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to receive the report? Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby, all in favor? Motion is accepted. Okay, next we have report on administrative activities.
Thank you. We'll start at the summary of activity and just again some highlights. I think one that that deserves recognition is the 2025 audit, the interim audit that the township was had conducted last week. I think that's a giant step forward for the community. We're looking at 2025, so we're current. And that's a big step for the community. It's one that we're very proud of internally. So and I guess number two would be the ILC, the NMCA meeting, and just a small update from that. Councillor Eby and myself attended that meeting last week, just on a facilities update. Just a simple update that they're still looking at locations in both communities. That being Nipigon and Red Rock for the general home for the new Parks Canada facility and building. So we're hoping to be the community selected, and I think we spoke to that evening, and why we think Red Rock is a perfect destination, and how we've developed those partnerships along the way with the communities as well as the Indigenous partners. So we're expecting to hear some kind of an announcement one way or the other on that, hopefully by the end of this year. If we look at direction, discussion, and updates, just some simple updates right off the top before is so the Roma Annual Conference. Again, the delegations as directed by council have been submitted. So delegations have been submitted both to the Minister of Infrastructure as well as the Ministry of Transportation. So we generally don't hear confirmation of those meetings until a couple of weeks prior, but generally speaking, I don't see a problem, and we should get those two requests. So but staff will continue to follow up on that. Landfill process update. So something new we wanted to bring to council and get that direction. What we've been talking about internally is moving to a punch card system, similar to what most municipalities operate through. So the punch card simply is that it will replace cash on the spot, right? So we're not handling cash at the landfill. We're not asking our staff to transfer. So the cards would be purchased through the municipality. And that's how we would then collect and manage our revenue. It's just another step in the process. So what we're looking for is that direction from council to move to the punch card system. Again, it simply eliminates the cash transaction for our staff at the landfill, and it's exactly what it says. It's a punch card.
Any question, Councillor Mayor?
Yeah, no, I like that idea. It's like it's like that in a lot of spots for sure.
So with that direction, we would then go ahead and produce those cards, and we'd have them into we'd obviously set the denominations of the punch card to our fee schedule, and we'd go from there. So it's looking like we can proceed with that then.
Councillor Brand?
So would this be for, like if you're bringing a half-ton truck or full truckload, like what would this punch card go towards?
So anything that generates a charge, right? So
Okay.
anything that generates a charge, as opposed to then say, and we'll just use an arbitrary number, like you pull up to the landfill and it's a $20 charge. Well, the punch card would reflect that, whether it was 5 punches, right,
Okay.
at $5 increments or whatever. So it eliminates that cash transfer. And
what about non-residents? Would they still buy the same punch card?
correct? Yeah.
Because aren't their fees different, non-residents?
Yeah, but the punch card will have. Let's just say, for example, the punch card might be worth $100.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Very similar to what all other communities.
Yep.
I don't imagine there's too many that actually handle the cash at the landfill.
Okay, thanks.
So we'll proceed with that. The township website, great news. The new website launched today. So if you now visit the Township of Red Rock website, you will see the new website. So some great work done on that project. It's fantastic. Go have a look. OMPF 2026 allocation notice. So just a general update to calendar or to council, sorry. So our OMPF, so our Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund for 2026 has some positive news that sometimes you don't always get, but we've seen an increase of $36,800 this year for 2026. So in 2026, our OMPF funding will be $701,100, and in 2025, it was locked at $664,300. So again, that's your Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund. A discussion or a proposal from myself to council, just on an amended council meeting schedule. I know my last day in the role will be the 28th of November. We still have some significant things to discuss prior around, for example, CAO recruitment, which I'm kind of leading right now. So my thought behind some of this was, as opposed to this being my last council meeting tonight, and kind of leaving that kind of in the open, that we would with the direction of council, with the approval of council, quite possibly move our December 1st council meeting until the 27th of November. That'll give us time to have one more meeting, go through some of those processes. So what it could look like if it met the schedule of council, so that would have us moving the Monday, December 1st meeting to I believe it's a Thursday, November 27th. And then what that also does is it allows a little bit of a break after for whatever process unfolds. It would leave one meeting in December and then one meeting again already moved in January. So if you went to this plan, we would meet again on the 27th of November, and then you would meet again as a council on the 15th of December, and then on the 12th of January. So just looking for approval from council and direction if that fits all the schedules.
Councilor Muir.
I would love one more meeting with you, 100%. I have several more, as many as you want. But yeah, we're going to miss you, Mark, I swear.
I don't believe there's any issues.
Okay.
Switching it to that time.
And then that would then lead to the CAO clerk treasurer recruitment process. Again, that closes this Friday. So we've taken the approach of advertising that through mostly through the municipal platforms. So we'll then close the process on Friday and be able to bring those that discussion to council for that meeting on the 27th. And that's simply it for the for my report, unless there's any questions.
I'd just like to thank Administrative Assistant Miss O'Dall for all her work on the website. Significant amount of work has been put into that, and I think it looks great. I was on there today, so thank you very much.
Yeah, it definitely. You're remiss without saying that when you took that project when we first started talking about it, and it was a bit of hesitancy, but certainly ran with it and knocked it out of the park and really took the lead on that project, and it is what you see because of the hard work that she put into that project, for sure.
And just one question about the punch cards. When do we plan on implementing that? Is that something, I mean, I know we're going through the draft fee. So would it be something after that, like once that's passed?
So yeah, I mean, we're going to set them at the denominations that work, right? So I mean, when you look at it, the fee schedule will kind of correlate to the punch cards. So what we were waiting for, I believe, from the final print of the of the punch card, the company producing those punch cards, because Whitney's kind of been working on that as well. They were just looking for that final okay before they printed them. So I think we would be able to introduce those, I'd say right away in January as well. So.
Councillor Brand?
What would be the cost to have these printed approximately?
It's under $1,000 to have them printed, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's great.
Okay.
No other questions or comments on the report? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to accept the report as presented? Councillor Muir, Councillor Brand, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, next we have the report, the draft 2026 fee schedule.
Yeah, so again, as it says, I mean, as an administration team, we go through the process of reviewing. We make what we think are changes that we recognize throughout the year, or changes that seem appropriate to make. That we bring it to you, and that's what we're doing this evening. And then we accept the discussion and the feedback from you based on that. So you'll see some new changes, or some new charges that we're recommending, as well as some different rates. So again, if there's any questions on that, this is the time to bring it through to you. We can easily address some questions this evening, or you can bring them through to us prior, and then our process would then be to bring this back to you next meeting. So that would now be on the 27th, and hopefully pass the bylaw for that then allows us to set that fee schedule for January 1st.
Oh, Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I do see there's, if I'm reading this correctly, there is fees that are going down. Service fees going down. Am I reading that correctly? We'll look at power receptacles, last page. 600 to 800 per season. Is it dropping to 600 per season?
No, it's going up to
Up to
800.
800. Okay.
Yeah. So your 2025 is in the fall.
So it's for 26. And every year I make that mistake every single year consecutively. Every single year I make the same mistake. Okay. I should have known that.
Yeah. So in a lot of these, what we do is obviously we meet, we discuss it internally. We also look at comparables from other communities that you know, for example, if you're operating a marina in this case, or a landfill, we've a lot of it we've targeted certain areas over the years, like where building code charges, for example, and that's simply because we've seen an influx in that. There really wasn't a lot over the years, right? So our prices were kind of way out of line, but I don't think we come at this with an approach where we're looking to significantly raise pricing, but there's some new ideas. There's some changes in pricing, and again, this is a draft copy at this time.
Councillor Brand.
I'm just wondering about your commissioned documents. What type of documents would you be commissioning? And if it's like a document that has 10 pages, are you saying you're going to charge $5 per page when you're commissioning one document?
Yeah, so we commission, if we commission a document, there's times that we're getting large documents that take up significant amounts of time. So when you look at what you're paying, say in a legal charge, for example, or something, then we feel that to be in line, that the charging accordingly. And there's times that you may end up with one page that you're doing for $10, but then all of a sudden you might have 50 pages, for example, and you're not going to charge $10 for that.
But it would be one document of 50 pages?
If it was, I'm saying, and I'm just using an example.
Yeah.
Very rarely, I think, would you get to 50 pages, but maybe 10 or 20 for sure.
So any document that is over one page, you're going to charge an extra $5 per page.
Well, that's what we're proposing. I mean, it's the will of council as to what's set in a fee and a service charge. But again, that increase or that price, that new price is coming based on an internal discussion and comparisons.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Brand, yep.
Your fire permits, what would you estimate that you get per year? Because you don't normally charge, right?
We have never charged in the past for a fire permit. I'm not sure of the exact number, but again, I do know that that there should be a fee, and we're in our opinion there should be a fee, and we're just again following a standard of what most other
Right. Yeah, I'm just wondering how many we would get a year to, like, how much.
Well, I mean,
that would
I
bring
don't
in.
have that exact number. I could certainly get that, but we would get a significant amount because you need a fire permit for just simple burning in your yard, et cetera, right? So, I mean, again, it would be if you were looking for a permit to have a backyard fire, it would be one permit for the year. So you'd be paying $20 for that. But the exact number, I don't have that one. There's quite a bit though.
I have no issue with that fee. I think we should be charging for that.
Yeah, and also with I mean, there could be, when you're making the change to a new website, there's a lot of opportunity for online purchasing and things like that as well, right? Was why we made a lot of the changes, say, to a new website, so you can go into that, you know, and make it easier for the residents to make that purchase as well.
Okay, so if any council has any additional questions, you can email.
Yeah, just let us know, and
make sure you bring it up at the next meeting, because we will be passing this or potentially passing it. Oh, I increased the font on my screen. Nope, I'm good. Okay, so 8.5, report on elliptical replacement.
I just have a note I need here. So the elliptical replacement, so the process here is exactly as I'm kind of showing in the report. So we have a reserve fund that's set aside by usership. So I believe it's 30% of our fees collected go into our reserve fund to replace our equipment within our facility. So again, any purchase made at this time is not a direct purchase through the tax base, but it through the policy it requires the approval of council. So what we did is looked at a few options from a few different scenarios. We also had and engaged our members with their opinion, and went at it from that way. So what we wanted to do was present council with a few different options, and that's what we've done. If you look at option 1 and option 2, they're your basic elliptical machines, right? They'll meet that that requirement, and they will do the job, right? But the direction or a lot of the discussion from the members was maybe to look at a machine that is more multifunctional. So what we did is we took it and we looked at a machine that really and truly has or mimics the movements of 4 different machines, right? So you look at a machine that acts as an elliptical, a stair climber, could emulate a bike, a treadmill, those kind of things. So the reason why, again, this approach was taken was we don't have a large space in our facility. So we often get requests for multiple pieces of equipment. We just can't fit them in. So when this elliptical reached its end of life, this was kind of a direction we took. So what option 3 gives you, and I believe is the best option for this purchase at this time, although it is the most expensive, it in essence gives you 4 different pieces of equipment that we can put in one spot in our small gym and meet the needs again of the usership, and ultimately spends really their user fee, their percentage of user fee, the way they want it spent. So I think it meets that need. It's actually originally the original cost of that machine from retail was 17,000. So it has a purchase discount right now, which brings it down to 12,480. So that's the rationale behind the 3 options, and then the discussion as to why we think that option 3 will best suit our needs. So you're ending up almost with, for that price, with multiple machines for the usership.
I think if the usership wants it and it's their money, and it obviously makes sense if it's kind of a 4-in-1 machine, it is limited space down there. So I like that idea. Councillor Muir?
Yeah, I concur. I mean, if they've got the money and that's what they want, then 100%, no questions.
Yeah, that reserve fund to date is sitting at about 30 to 30. I believe it's $30,000 right now, but the transfer happens at the end of the year, so you're probably looking at that range. So it's easily purchased with this resolution of council.
Councillor Brand?
Just 2 quick ones. Do they currently have a step climber? And what happens to the old elliptical machine? Do they sell it?
So there's no stepper.
Okay.
And what could happen to the old elliptical? So it's old. I believe Wayne pulled or tried to pull the age of it, and I can't recall what that was now, but it's old. It's reached its end of life. So what you could do in that case is, I mean, declare it as surplus. If somebody wanted it, you could sell it, but I don't believe there's Wayne would be able to better answer the question of how it functions, but I don't believe it would be useful to anyone at this point. I believe it's so you can look at it from 2 ways: scrap it, surplus it, and no, we do not currently have a stepper, so this will fit that void as well.
Any other questions or comments on the elliptical? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the purchase of a new elliptical machine for the Red Rock Fitness Club with option, I believe you said 3. Councillor Muir, Councillor Evie, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, bylaws. We have bylaw 2025-1407, formulate the emergency management plan. We do this every year. So are there any questions or comments on it? Councillor Muir?
Yeah, definitely. So the alternate CEMC is going to be Wayne. Are we sending Wayne for training?
Yeah, so you've seen the changes for sure. I mean, so basically we meet internally, we review, we have our internal control group meeting, which we've done. That's part of the compliance process. And then of course, naming your CEMC and alternate CEMC. So Wayne is going to take training. He's fine with that. So we're totally in compliance with my departure, because at the time when we became compliant through myself and the deputy clerk, we both took the training. So we could make the choice of just naming Wayne right to that role, which is where we'll eventually get to. But then there's a time constraint for compliance. We only have a certain window to remain compliant. So we made the decision and brought this to council to then put Samantha in that role, because she's already got the qualifications and the training. And then we'll continue to train Wayne, and then we never lose compliance, right? So we stay compliant right through that time, and it doesn't put a time constraint. So our ultimate plan then would be to switch that role at some point.
Councillor Muir?
Yeah, that's a perfect plan, honestly. Like yeah, I like that a lot. Great, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, can I have a resolution or a motion to pass the bylaw 2025-1407? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir, all in favor? Motion's carried. We have no new business, no unfinished business, agenda questions. Anybody like to? Yep, come on up. So, oh, 1 second. So Mr. Merton, just bring this closer to you. And then you'll see the gray button that says talk. Well, that's why I'm asking you to use that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I just have some
Mr.
simple
Mark.
questions. Wonder if we could get something written out about what is and is not allowed in the question period. Right now, I only know the questions on the agenda, and that's kind of vague.
So direction is that anything that comes up on the agenda, that's what you're allowed to ask.
So what about last week's agenda or agenda 6 months ago? Or basically, you're saying you can only ask questions. The only questions be allowed from this table are questions on today's agenda.
Yes.
Now, I got just 2 questions on all these reports. On page 69 of that big report, it says that about 62% of the people in the community are hooked up to our water system. And I'm just wondering who's paying the majority of the cost to run that. Are the 38% that aren't hooked up to it paying as much as the 62%?
I don't have that answer for you, but we can get it for you.
Thank you very much. And I'm not sure if I didn't hear it. Seems like we skipped over the Integrity Commission on page 1 of CAO Figlamini's report. I didn't hear any discussion on that. Or
We are in the process of selecting a new integrity commissioner. So Mr. Figlamini has talked to 2 individuals or corporations, but I don't know how you want to word it, and then one will be selected.
thank you very much. And I got one final question. Are these black things here speakers, or are those red things, gray things in the corner speakers? What is that black thing up there with that red light on?
So that's not on the agenda. You can ask that after council meeting if you'd like.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Okay, so, oh,
Ashley Davis, I have my resident hat on.
okay.
I'm just wondering if we can explain to our residents what the process is for purchasing the punch cards for the landfill, how we can go about purchasing those if we need to, if we can order them online, if we have to go to the municipal office, if they can be purchased at the landfill, but it sounds like we're getting rid of cash at the landfill. So I'm just wondering if that's something that can be answered now or a part of the notification process that goes out through Voyant or on the website or on on Facebook, just explaining how that works.
Good question. I think we'll actually probably do some PR a couple of weeks before it actually is implemented. So everybody is aware of how to do it. And other than that, like obviously, yeah. And then also the garbage attendant, he will have one. I have some for purchase there, but obviously we'll get it rolled out. But yeah, obviously proper notification has to happen right before we implement it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. I was actually I had that question on my mind during it, and then I forgot.
Well, again, right, I mean, we're in the process of ordering them now as we implement this. I mean, we would and we will most certainly bring that type of information out to the community. It's just I mean, that is more of an internal discussion that we would have after the direction to move to punch cards, which we got this evening. So tomorrow we'll proceed to step 2, which is then pressing enter and speaking to the company that was waiting for that direction and that 100% direction before they started printing. And then we'll make sure that we get that message out to the community as I mean, and there's many different avenues.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so now we have the confirming bylaw, 2025-1408. Resolution, yeah, so mover and seconder for motion to confirm the proceedings of council. Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby. All in favor? Motion's carried, time being 8:11. Next meeting will be November 27th. Have a good evening.